friends. In Planet Earth Dating, it's Saturday, June 20th, 2020, the summer solstice of 2020. Happy solstice. Somebody's saying what the solstice is, and what the solstice is the day in which the Earth's tilt on its axis is most extreme. So if you're in the northern hemisphere in the summer, you are tilted toward the sun, and if you're in the southern hemisphere in the summer, you are tilted away from the sun.
That's true.
So this is the day at which the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun the most, and the southern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun the most. And somebody else upstairs in a room of higher dimension presences are talking about what that means in terms of weather patterns and heat transfer and maybe climate change.
Yeah, that's right.
And that this is when the North Pole, today is when the North Pole is pointed most toward the sun. And
that's
usually
right
about that day is when the heat starts to catch up. And now we will start tilting away from the sun, but in the northern hemisphere, people are usually aware of how July and August are the hottest months, which occur after we've started tilting away from the sun again.
That's right.
So July and August are still the hottest months. So they're still coming up. Do you guys know that Siberia hit 92 degrees recently? And that's the type of temperature that is conducive to the fires starting that we had last year in Siberia. So it's likely to be another problematic summer in Siberia, which is problematic for all of us. Friends, do you know that, the microphone just shifted again. Somebody else is saying, do you know that the United States still literally subsidizes the fossil fuel industry? Do you guys know that? Literally subsidizing fossil fuel industry with your tax dollars. For whom is the message, and why do you ask? And friends, what we're doing today, somebody is answering another question of, and it's kind of a grumpy pants question.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
do you think you're doing? Kind of coming in from upstairs, and what we think we're doing is attempting to fulfill the filming assignments which are given to these host lives to post videos on YouTube that are channeled messages from angels and higher powers responsible for planet Earth, or for a collective that includes planet Earth, because humanity is destroying life on planet Earth using tools sent in by the spirit world, and the gods and angels are not happy with that, and
that's right.
They remind us continually that this is not humanity's planet to destroy. Humanity is supposed to be tending the planet, caring for the planet, not destroying the planet. So we've had, somebody else is talking now, the microphone keeps switching. We've had this assignment since, I believe, 2014 to post these videos on YouTube. That followed a 7-year teaching assignment where we were traveling up and down the East Coast of the United States, teaching angelically guided multidimensional energy healing for soul purpose. We had 2 or 3 radio shows, our radio shows.
Right.
During those years, we spoke on other radio shows. We were paid as a public speaker. Once we got paid almost $6,000 for a 30-minute speaking assignment. Now, we didn't accept the funds personally. It all went into the teaching pot to support teaching angelically guided multidimensional energy healing for soul purpose up and down the East Coast of the United States. We did at one point, somebody's asking, what about the West Coast? We did at one point try to extend to the West Coast, but it was too difficult to support with an all-volunteer team. We just couldn't do it. It didn't work. So we had to limit it to the East Coast. And after 7 years, instructions started coming in from upstairs of, that's it, pack it up. These people are a waste of our time.
That's right.
These people being students who literally signed up to learn angelically guided multidimensional energy healing for soul purpose, which we believe to be the best people on the planet.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And they didn't want to do what it took in that format, and so we had to revise the curriculum to go to residential programs, supervised apprenticeships fundamentally.
That's right.
And to take in as many students as we're able to take in without one student poisoning another student.
Exactly.
Which is pretty limiting stricture, but that's okay. And somebody's pointing to the many spiritual traditions where there's a geshe or teacher and a student, and it's a 20-year cycle.
Exactly.
And then when the old geshe or old teacher dies, that person who was the student has now learned as much as they're going to learn because the teacher just died, right? And so they've got to become the teacher and take in a student and attempt to do the same thing, attempt to pass on the lineage. And somebody's just really on a roll.
Yeah, they really are.
They're probably trying to keep us from focusing on what we're supposed to focus on.
That's what it feels like.
But we are going to do this one more thing because they're saying we have to, and then after that we really have to get to the assignment for today's program, Mama. So the original soul for this life, the soul's name was Melea.
Yeah.
Very, very good soul. Had a past life as a student of a geshe.
That's right.
In Tibetan Buddhism, and was a monk, and had studied with the teacher for 20 years, and it was oral tradition. It was not written. And the teacher had just died when the Mongol hordes invaded, and the monk knew that he was going to die, and he took the sacred symbols, the sacred objects with him, and the instructions from above were go down that road, and he knew if he went down that road he was going to be jumped by the Mongols, and that was going to be the end of the lineage. But the instructions from above were go down that road, so he went down that road and was jumped by the Mongol hordes, and that was the end of the lineage. But it was still the right thing for him to have done because that was the instruction from above. And sometimes people don't get that. They think that it has to turn out like I think it should turn out for it to have been the right thing. And we think that that's short-sighted because we think divinity has a perspective that boots on the ground can't possibly have. And if you've ever seen a view from the valley and also from the mountaintop, we think you would agree that they are not the same view. For whom is the message? Why do you ask? And now we come to the assignment of the day. Yesterday we filmed, and we were surprised to see Greta Thunberg being kind of like browbeaten for minuscule errors that she had made by interrogators after we all die, as is inevitable, and there's this room of presences who are dead. We have to look through both time and space into another dimension, and also through time, but not to worry, we know how to do it.
That's right.
So we, having basically gone through that 20-year apprenticeship already, and now we're the teacher teaching others as they go through the 20-year apprenticeship.
That's right.
4. They asked how many. 4. That's all we can handle.
So much yelling.
Yeah, they want to know how it's going. It's not going well.
No.
So we really would like to get to the point of today's filming, which is that there is a group of presences, humans on Ground Zero planet Earth, who have paid a price to try to stop the destruction in a fair and just way, the destruction of planet Earth at humanity's hands. And there is a group of presences, humans, who have tried, really tried, and paid a price. And we believe Greta Thunberg, based on what happens when we do vibrational sorting, she's leading the parade. And Gail Bradbrook, Bill McKibben, Guy McPherson have all made significant contributions.
That's right.
And because this is a group healing, we have to define it in such a way as it includes whoever we're attempting to help and also ourselves, or
That's
it would
right.
be straight up energy manipulation, which we don't do
No.
because it's unethical in answer to somebody's question. So the group has to be defined in such a way as to include us, and we kind of like Bill McKibben, we have decades into this effort. Not that we have success, but we do have decades into it.
And great personal cost.
And great personal cost. It paid a lot of personal price. And this one also, over here, she also takes a lot of flack. We don't know if you guys know this, but when you publish videos on YouTube, people think that it's an open invitation to just harass you.
Yeah, that's right.
And they don't seem to have any boundaries to that. These people seem
Not
to
that
be
we've
really
seen.
scum low lives. Often men.
Yep.
Bring us a message. Why do you ask? So we have this group of presences who has paid a personal price and engaged in a long-term effort to attempt to stop the destruction of planet Earth at humanity's hands using tools sent in by the spirit world. And they might not be defining it quite that way, but if the vibration is a match for that definition, then they're in that room. And we see presences we know individually, personally. We also see those who we know from the world stage. And we see ourselves in that room also looking through space and time.
That's right.
And what we learned yesterday, and again, we shouldn't be surprised by this based on everything that we've learned over the past 20 to 30 years, but what we see upstairs is there's some kind of like checkpoint, an astral checkpoint, where presences are purporting to be divine or godly, and they're purporting to be, you know, like doing the exit conferences for people as they're attempting to transition from one life to the next. And they're just harassers and thugs because they're giving Greta Thunberg a ration of grief, and she's really stepping up in an impressive way and has achieved impressive outcomes even though there hasn't been any real change.
That's right.
And nobody else is even through the turnstile, not Gail Bradbrook.
No.
Not Roger Hallam either. Not Guy McPherson, not Bill McKibben. They're all in the room. And we can see this one in the room and that one in the room. And that has to be, or we're energy manipulating.
Exactly.
And so, and the room also includes many other people also. It includes everybody who's paid significant personal price to, and extended effort, in an extended effort, not just do something for a year and say, oh, I really tried.
That's right.
It's like, a year? Really? That's it? That's all you're going to do? If I miss a message, why do you ask? So now we're live streaming up as if from that room. So we're connecting in with our future selves into that space and live streaming up from there and saying, hey, do you guys know that these people are harassing they're harassing Greta Thunberg? Just like, watch this one. And they're harassing her over things like, you dropped a piece of lint on the floor.
Yeah, that's right.
I saw you do it and you didn't stop and pick it up.
That's
What's
right.
with that? It's like, oh, okay, somebody's focusing on the wrong thing or using this as an excuse.
That's
right?
true.
So that's live streaming up from that room, from here through that room, and pumping up from the depths, because out of the depths we call to you, O Lord. And it should kind of like line up to be now. Does that make sense? You just kind of pull it into the now moment and pump it up, and it smells really stinky as
Yeah,
it
that's true.
smells like dead bodies, rotting, really nasty smell.
That's right.
And maybe toxic also. It's like the combination of stench.
Yeah, that's right.
Sending that up, pumping up. Do you guys know that astral harassers are setting up these fake checkpoints? That's opening and helpful.
Yeah, it is.
Now let's kind of just float up, but they're not floating up, they're not coming up.
No, that's true.
They don't know how to do that.
No, that's true.
So we used to teach this stuff so that people would know. We were supposed to teach it so that it would catch on and everybody would know. These things should be taught in kindergarten, but they
That's
aren't.
right.
And now what's happening is that people can't even get to God.
That's true.
It's problematic. All right, so what now? What now? Well, we can like lift the whole thing up, like pulling cables, like hand over hand to lift like the barge.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't have to feel heavy because we remember it's all dead.
That's
and right
true.
now we have a density that we won't have then. And so using this density right now, it's easy. It's like lifting a raft of angels, you know?
That's true.
Whereas if we try to do it in that moment, we will already have lost the dense bodies being dead, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
It'll be harder. It's easier now. It does seem to be going up.
Yeah, it does. Lifting.
Mm-hmm. Not high enough. Well, I'm seeming to be approaching the pulley.
Yeah, that's
well,
true.
let's just tie it off, because as far as we can go is as far as we can go, right? Just anchor it off. Well, I think now we kind of go back up into that dimension and say we want to come for a check-in. We are the people who have paid a personal price, really tried for an extended period of time, paying great personal price to stop the destruction in a fair and just way. Now we come for check-in. Is there anybody up there who's prepared? I see somebody kind of like wiping off their hands, like washing up.
Yeah, I feel that.
That person has bad intent.
That's right.
Is there anybody up there who has themselves paid great personal price? Here's something that we've learned. Please may we have instant karma, each of us for ourselves. That often clears the way.
That's right.
Please may we have instant karma for all of us and a delivery of accumulated karma. Please, for the worst of the worst, in such a way as to provide guidance to the masses and stop the destruction in a fair and just way.
Starting to get that feeling, like that higher dimension room that the top of the pillar is poking into, like the ceiling of that room is starting to get thin, like it's starting to get worn.
We don't want to break into that room.
That's
There's something not correct there. I
exactly.
think we should just pause right here.
Exactly.
I think that was the end that just happened. That's what we think. We just pause there. Continue tomorrow.
Or, you know. Indeed.
Because we're stuck. Now we need to give them a chance up there to think about it. We're going to have to do that. This is going to be a month-long project. We're not going to get from soup to nuts.
Yeah.
So we got out of there. We got up to the top of the pulley.
And now
we called up, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
And then that one started yapping.
Yeah. Pause now.
We pause now.
Yeah.